With schools closed and parents searching for ways to keep their children occupied, the risk for drowning has increased. Most of us know the basic swim safety rules. Those are an adult should always watch a child, have kids in early swim lessons, take CPR, and purchase a pool fence. But there are several swim safety tips many adults may not consider. Michael Haggard, a member of the Advisory Council to the National Drowning Prevention Alliance and a top drowning victim attorney, joins us by phone this morning to tell us about those. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me this morning.
So I think, everybody's mind right now is on the pandemic, but a drowning is still a part of life and something that's completely preventable.
Absolutely. And, the problem we've seen since the pandemic started and quarantine has started is really a 70% increase in child drownings, which is really just amazing to see this going on. But when you think about it, kids are around water more than they've ever been because they're at home, they're pools, or they're in apartments with apartment pools, or they're riding their bikes, as we've all seen, with them not being in school, going by ponds and canals. And the risk has just been increased exponentially, which is really scary.
Yeah, parents, the kids are cooped up in the house all day for school and for meal times. They want to get out and go outside, So what are those extra tips that parents should be taking right now?
Well, you think of, we've all seen the pictures of, mom or dad homeschooling, then they're running to their corner office where their laptop is. And you think about it, that's a 9-hour period with it, just during the day. And so kids are wandering around, mom's got to take a phone call, and they go to those sliding glass doors, they might get out to the residential pool. So now it's more important than ever to either have a pool fence or put a pool alarm on all your sliders and any doors that enter outside so that you hear it if the kids go outside, because these days are long at home. And or one of the parents might be outside the house. That's something that you can do, at your house. A lot of us, obviously in Florida, North Florida, there are retention ponds, canals, lakes. Know where those are in your area, and if your kids are old enough, talk to them about that's off limits. Because you can go down a slope, a kid can jump in there, and no one's watching it. And we've seen we just saw a tragedy down in Putnam County. It just occurred with a lake, and that usually doesn't happen this early in the season. In the summer, it happens, but kids just have more access to lakes and any type of body of water.
Yeah, I've covered way too many stories of children actually drowning in the ponds and creeks around their house. Let's talk about inflatable pools, because a lot of parents are trying to use this as an alternative option right now.
Yeah, I mean, we look at all these videos of how people are trying to entertain themselves. So one thing is, the summer's coming up, the weather's beautiful, your kids are out of sorts, we're all out of sorts. So you're looking for entertainment. So you go buy an inflatable pool, and you leave the water in there. And then the child gets out there, they had fun yesterday, you're not there, and a child can drown in a couple of inches of water, bathtubs, obviously inflatable pools. Any body of water is a danger, and with them not being in school and not having that, 6-7 hour buffer, just like y'all just covered, the summer scares us because camps are going to be limited or not functioning. What are kids going to be doing? And it puts that much pressure to supervise them as a parent 24 hours a day, where usually you had school or a camp or an activity to help you with that. And we might not have those this summer.
One of the scariest parts about a child drowning is usually they're very silent, which means parents can just turn around and maybe even be making a phone call for a few seconds and it can happen. What is your recommendation for even just having your phone out there?
Yeah, it's so right. It's a silent event, and everybody thinks of splashing, and that's not what occurs. So, if you are with your child near water or anything like that, you've got to be careful about paying too much attention to your phone, and that's why we really need layers of protection. We can always say you need to watch your child every second of the day, but that's the whole reason we have pool fences. We know, and if you're a parent, you're honest with yourself, you know that your child gets out of your view at times. So the more layers of protection you have, a pool fence, a pool alarm, and just paying so much attention, putting that phone away, that'll be there later while you're at or near water. You've got to be extra vigilant.
Really quickly, because we're running out of time, but we hear it all the time. A drowning is preventable, 100% preventable. What does that mean?
Well, it starts with whenever you're near water, at or near water with your child, and they're expected to be there, that you've got to keep your eyes on for that period. But even when you're not at or near water, you know, and you think you're inside your living room, those layers of protection, whether it's a fence, whether it's a pool alarm, whether it's you know, different types of locks. You know, if you live in an apartment, make sure that gate is either locked with a chain lock now or has a self-closing and self-latching lock. Really kind of as a parent trying to make sure those precautions are there ahead of time, because you never know when your child's going to be, you know, out there for a couple seconds, like you said. And that's all it takes, because when you're looking at something else, they could be in the pool.
Michael Haggard, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for covering this. Really appreciate it.